That is where pride comes from. So many queer men, they used these symbols to keep their memory alive. Do you understand? Do you understand that some of these people who died, their leathers were kept sacred and their ashes were thrown onto the White House lawn? You cannot tell me that kink is not necessary at Pride. You cannot. If someone were to identify like the part of your brain that makes you trans, people would pay to have their kids lobotomized. What is gender is incredibly complicated and has been a subject of fierce debate for literal decades by a lot of people. I wanted to be really intense in the microphone, but then I realized I was going to blow out your eardrums. Not just decades, my friend. Do you think that we haven't been having fucking debates about gender and like because trans people have existed since the fucking Scythian Empire? When was the Scythian Empire? Hold on. 8th century BC. Trans women there used to castrate themselves and then drink mare's horse piss because of the estrogenizing effects from the estrogen in the horse piss. Trans people have existed forever. What is gender? Well, it's a complicated question. Ha, you don't know what it is. True. The recorded debate on gender has been going on for decades, or at least the modern. Well, that's not even true either. There was a recorded conversations. Okay, do y'all know? Hold on. We're gonna have a little bit of learning. We're learning now. Yay, shut up, Alora. I'm sorry, that was rude. I'm kidding. Sorry, I was kidding. I felt bad immediately. Okay. True. Okay. Okay, hold on. We're gonna do something. We're gonna look real quick. Okay? We're gonna do something. Okay, do you see this? This picture right here? This is a book burning. This picture was taken outside of the Institute for Sexual Science. The Hirschfeld Institute for Sexual Science. So this, I think that the Nazi police just like riled up, these are a bunch of like college students. They just riled up a bunch of college students and raided. Oh, wait, why is it on the wrong display? Oh, hold on. I know what I did. Hold on, we're gonna fix this. I changed the other one, but I didn't change it in this scene. I'm sorry. Thank you, guys. Okay, so this picture. Thank you. This picture. Book burning of the Institute of Sexual Science in Germany. There was a thriving community of queer people and trans people in the Weimar Republic. They would, at the Hirschfeld Institute, they would be given like a card, like a medical placard to carry around that said this person is medically allowed to cross-dress because cross-dressing was illegal. So, there was a lot of recorded information. They were like giving people hormones. They were doing surgery, or at least like connecting people with the resources to get surgery in fucking Germany pre-Nazi Germany. That's what the Weimar Republic is. That's the government that existed before the Nazi Germany government came over. So, yeah, it's important to recognize that we've been here. Our history has been deliberately erased multiple times. There have been probably plenty of individual times where some fucking Catholic historian stumbles upon love letters between two queer people and fucking burns them. Is there any question, any doubt in anyone's mind here that has happened? How many times? How many times do you think it's happened? How many? Transvestite passes, yes. Yeah, was Holocaust Remembrance Day today? I knew that I saw people talking about it. 1918 or so is probably... Yeah, hold on. When did the Hirschfeld Institute start? Do I have this tab open still? Hold on. The Hirschfeld Institute was opened in... Hold on. It's so frustrating to me that even on the Wikipedia page, that photo is just labeled as book burning in Berlin with the date, but not... It doesn't say this was at the Institute. I'm trying to... Here, hold on. Let's just look up the Hirschfeld. The Institute for Sexualwissenschaft. 1919. It was an early private sexology research institute in Germany from 1919 to 1933. The Institute of Sex Research, Institute of Sexology, Institute for Sexology, or Institute for the Science of Sexuality are all ways that can be translated into English. Headed by Magnus Hirschfeld, who since 1897 had run the Scientific Humanitarian Committee, which campaigned on progressive and rational grounds for LGBT rights and tolerance. They fucking burned our history. Weimar Republic was pretty based, TBH. We lost decades of Alora, we lost decades of research in 33, and then we lost a generation of oral history to AIDS. They fucking killed us on purpose. That's some shit that I'm way more upset about, like, the longer I live. Oh, boy. How much do you think the fact that queer people have always existed matters to their validity? In an alternate universe where queer people spontaneously came into existence partway through history somehow, would they be less valid? I definitely don't think that they would be less valid. I just think that, I don't think that making the argument that we've always been here would in any way... I don't think that there is a natural implication there, that there is something inferior about the spontaneous evolution of this thing. It's just... Honestly, it's kind of an appeal to... Not like an appeal to authority, that's not quite right. It's an appeal to tradition, sort of. Like, you're sort of using that fallacious trick against them when they say, oh, this is not natural, this is new. And you can say, fuck you, no it isn't. Fuck you, I have proof. Absolutely not, no it isn't. I don't think it has anything to do with, oh, if it did spontaneously emerge. And, so to be totally clear, I think a smaller scale analogous thing would be, did you have to always know you were trans, or could you have figured out later in life? Or could you have just decided that inhabiting one gender would be preferable to another? I'm fully on board with, if you just feel like it, I don't care. If you just feel like changing gender, I don't care. Do it. Do it. It would be amazing. Do it more. Do it harder. And the hilarious thing is that they call us gender ideologues. We are gender libertarians, goddammit. True, damn girl. Trans people in the Weimar Republic, that's just proof that trans people cause hyperinflation. Yeah, the argument that we have always been here is to discredit real-world bigotry more than matter of validity. Yeah, it's not I love knowing that we've always been here. That makes it feel like it's not something that I just made up. Because we get that info so much, part of it is to make me feel like this is a natural expression of human experience historically. This has always been part of how humans are. Makes me feel better in the face of a lot of messaging that says this is unnatural, no, it's not. It's the most natural thing that you could do next to masturbating. Yeah, it's to tell people that we didn't make it up. Demon Mama did an hour-long research deep dive into Magnus Hirschfeld Pre- and Post-Institute last June, by the way, for those who are curious. Hey, Alora, if you want to, if you're willing to provide a link for that, happy to host that link in the chat there. I love Demon Mama, honestly. And here's another thing, too. I've kind of found it embarrassing in the past to be oh, I love this person, I love this creator, wow. I have to hedge. I have to say oh, I have some criticisms of Vosh, I have some criticisms of Xanderall, I have some criticisms of Natalie. I'm not doing it anymore. I used to know so little about trans history, like no one talked about it when I was in school. Even on Twitch, it didn't start being talked about until like 2015, 2016. That's true. Yeah, it's a constant feature of the human race. It's you have to advocate that it's natural to this extent, because otherwise people think they can change it. That's why the transmedicalist argument is so scary. And like, I understand people have been hesitant about my opinions about like being trans is somewhere in your brain. It's biological. We cannot find it. It's not diagnostic. The reason that I make those caveats is because people, if someone were to identify like the part of your brain that makes you trans, people would pay to have their kids lobotomized. So you can't advocate for that. You can't. You have to be very, very, very careful when you advocate for those things. We're not some sudden new aberration. No matter what they do, we'll still be here. We will keep being born to your straight families. You know? You can't kill something that's spontaneously emergent. And it doesn't work so simply, of course. Yeah, it's, Dad, my analogy that I use for this, my metaphor that I always use is like, it's like you like one flavor of ice cream over another, and something about your brain makes that the case, and you could watch the brain light up in response to the preferred flavor. Like, that part of the brain would be more active, but you cannot locate the part of the brain that makes one flavor more preferable. I think Demon Mama's anything is worth watching, TBH. Mia Mulder has some nice videos on trans history stuff. I need to watch more Mia Mulder. Thank you, Alora, for that link. Thank you so much. One scary thing with genetic understanding of disability that makes it technologically possible to be really ableist. Okay, so this is something that I have lost people over before. Oh, yikes, that would give looking for the causes of autism just because no reason why vibes. Yeah, true. Yeah, so, Nakrasissa, I run into an issue with this a little bit. Because, like, for example, like, so my dad's here in the chat. We both have the same genetic problems. If someone could have gone into my genes when I was being incubated and made it so that whatever my dad and I have in common that gave us both fibromyalgia, if you could just turn that off for me, good. Thank you. Better life. Thank you and thank you. To be fair, that's me speaking as an adult who has agency and can say, I want that, I don't want that. I am not saying that being disabled is necessarily inherently like a lesser way to live. I'm saying that I want to minimize human suffering. I want to minimize human suffering, okay? I do think that beautiful things can come from suffering. I think a lot of beautiful art has come from suffering. A lot of valuable insights and culture have come from suffering. I do not think that you should subject people to it if you have the option not to, for the most part, right? People will still develop disabilities as they live, you know? I'm also not advocating for, like, any kind of genetic, like, culling or anything. Like, I'm not saying, like, eugenics. Like, the thing about it is, the thing that makes this tricky is, where is the line of desirable traits, okay? That's why people get freaked out about this. It's exactly the same as if we found the trans part of the brain, people would lobotomize it thing, okay? If you find, like, people will say, like, oh, having brown hair is a disability. We want to get that out of the population. You know what I mean? Like, the line can be drawn technically anywhere. Eugenics always makes me sad about H.P. Lovecraft. Yeah, rip. So, yeah, it's tricky, you know? Like, I think that there could be benefit to individual lives if there were less disability. Not saying anything about society, because I don't think society would be any better or worse with more or less disabled people. I mean, unless you get to a staggering point where, like, literally most people are disabled, in which case, like how do you build houses, you know? I don't know. It's a tricky subject. And I don't have, like, a lot of firm opinions about it. Kaz Rowe for queer history. Okay, I have not seen them before. We must be nearly getting to that point where people can tailor-make their children. We're not. I mean, do you all remember all the buzz about CRISPR babies, like, 5 years ago? Has anybody heard anything in the news about that since then? Do you feel social models of disability have merit, then? Would society with so many disabled people really consider those people disabled, or would we be building to support their bodies? Yeah. The thing about the word disabled is that it's in context. So, if on average human beings can lift X number of pounds and walk for X number of miles, on average, if you are less able to do the things that you are expected to be able to do based on those sort of averages, then you are disabled. And I also personally have defined this as, like, I can't do what I think I should be able to do, but that's calibrated to what other people can do, right? So if you really, like, it, but what I'm saying is, like, if you have so many people who, like, are like very limited in their abilities, I guess it's always going to be in comparison to what people have once been able to do. Like, I don't think it's possible to decontextualize that. So it may be that it would take a significant amount of time of that just being the norm before they were stopped being considered disabled, because it would always be in reference to a prior ability or a different level of ability. So if you went generations and generations of, like, nobody can walk anymore, then people who can't walk aren't disabled. That's just what being a human is, you know? I hate being so middle of the road with my opinions. Being shrieked at for having them is what made me anxious sharing them, and I've been so cornered to the point I just give generic, bland, mellow opinions that are not in depth. Yeah, I do feel in some ways that the cultural, I don't know, just the vibe really does dissuade people from sharing their opinions. But, I mean, I'm sure even I will have, like, opinions that I just don't want to hear. That I'm like, that's abhorrent, and that's terrible, and I don't want to hear it, you know? So maybe I'm not as safe of a person as I think I am, but I do try to be patient, and I do try to hear people out. It usually, like, takes me a few times of digesting material before I really understand how fucked up it is. Like, I've rewatched the Doe versus RGR debate multiple times, or like watched other people covering it, because, like, it's just an entertainment thing at this point. Like, I'll just be like, oh, I need something to listen to at work, but I didn't download any new videos, so I'll just put on this 8-hour video again, you know? I'll watch Demon Mama cover the Doe versus RGR stream again. And I notice more and more things the more I watch it. I'm like, oh, that's really fucked up. Like, I can't believe you said that. Oh my god. So yeah, I mean, stuff's weird. He's in my lap because he's hungry. It is food time for kitties. Food time for kitties. Food time for kitties. The debate was yikesy, and that's putting it mildly. Yeah. I haven't commented on this very much publicly. Stuff's weird. Streamer grain go burr. True. Riley dominated that conversation. It was wildly unacceptable. She was so fucking rude. Multiple times. She was so fucking rude. Like, you can clearly tell that she just decided that before they even started that Doe was a piece of shit and that she was going to treat her like a piece of shit, or she was going to treat it like a piece of shit, excuse me. Yeah, it was fucking wild. It was fucking mean. Like, it was mean. Jesus. And like, again, Riley, if anybody tells you that I was talking about you, wow. Oh. It was an interesting Saturday, true. This cat has visited you in your home. He was not a huge fan, but I think it may have helped him tolerate this move a little better. Oh, yes. It's fun to experience your brain's ability to keep delving down into things deeper and deeper, yeah. Thoughts on the purpose of RGR's comeback vid? Why would she release that? Damage control for her reputation. People started raising concerns about her ethical behavior to forces that would actually make an impact on her livelihood in the future, her career in the future. She cannot concede that she called someone a pedophile for no reason and still want to make law. Like, you understand, Riley wants to be a politician, you know? I don't know if any of you watched, like, the Hake and Dylan Burns and Xander Hall, like, did a panel together at that place where they went to that con. But, like, they were talking about, like, oh, would incest between, like, two gay brothers be bad? And Dylan Burns was like, I'm not going to answer. I want to run for public office. Like, that's why. Like, Riley has to convince people that she didn't fuck up badly. Because she did. Yeah. Why are we talking about Harry Potter? A trans person reading Harry Potter, they must be a TERF Asian in drag, or the person doesn't know the drama on J.K. Rowling, or they divorced how bad the author is and their product. Clarification here, there were 5 people on Twitter that said they were going to contact the bar. I spent an hour or 2 hunting for people because, well, Demon Mama mod, and I couldn't find any more than 5 people. It was not a huge number of people. Oh, okay, Jody, you're fine. Yeah, it was not a huge number of people, and it was, like, the same handful of tweets going around, you know? But, like, Riley cannot... I don't know if it's that she understands that politically this is the smartest thing for her to do, or if she genuinely isn't able to understand that she is wrong, you know? And, like, I understand that some people explained, like, oh, maybe she meant, like, I just decided not to make the type of video where I go over other people's opinions and publicly move on my own opinions, right? But, like, still, the way that it sounded in that video was that she was saying, like, I just decided not to listen to other people's opinions and move on my position. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. I feel bad, you know, for fixating on that a little bit, but, like, holy shit, that's how it sounds. And then her behavior is also indicative of that. So I don't know, it's really hard for me to tell if it's malicious and motivated. Like, is it intentional or unintentional? That's the question. She either intentionally or unintentionally is being a huge shitlord. She's made herself synonymous with the moral panic against Kink At Pride. It's true. Riley Gimpsuit Roshong. It seems like RGR has got to be riding that drama wave for growth. Ever since she started with the Pride Parade shit, her takes have been pathetic from that, from what I've seen, but I can't imagine not just going, okay, this is a bad position after thinking about it. So, damn girl, I want to let you know that Vosh has moved on his position about the Kink At Pride. He has publicly discussed that he doesn't hold the same opinion that he was, and I understand, he was coming out hard. He came out guns blazing. I understand. So if you're still upset, I'm not pushing you. I'm just letting you know that he moved his opinion. That he was basically like, his reasoning is essentially like, if kids, like teenagers or whatever, have parents who are reluctant to let them go because of the potential for kink shit to be there, if we have spaces that are like the kink is kind of separate from the main event, then that enables those kids to go when otherwise they might not be able to. Okay. And so basically it's like, it's the 2-state solution where like you can still have people maybe like wearing kinky stuff, but like not engaging in kinky stuff, like keep that separate, you know? So I just wanted to let you know, damn girl, if you're interested in like revisiting, he touches base on it at the end of his video, after he reviews the debate between Riley and Doe, and then he talks to Doe, and then after that he briefly talks about that. So that's up to you. Bring out the GIMP. That sentence could sound like, I don't think going in circles in my videos would be helpful, but I have considered my opponent's points in private. But I get that that's deliberately overly charitable. Yeah. His early Kink at Pride takes were rough. He has moved his position, yeah. Yeah, you're welcome to be upset, damn girl. Totally not pressuring you either way. I just wanted you to know that there's more information for you to know if that would affect your opinion. He's also moved on xenogenders and neopronouns from his original explosive position. This is what I mean. Like, is it fair to say that Vosh is a little bit reactionary? But is that, maybe that's not how we use the word? Like, does reactionary not mean what I think it means? Like, it's a little bit reactionary, right? But it's okay. Like, to have an initial reaction to things, I just usually do that in private. I have my initial reaction, and then I'm like, oh, yes. I see. I understand where you're coming from now. I feel like RGR went out about political hobbyism as a way to deflect online opponents in the future. It's almost like she made this video so she could say, I made a video about this. Yeah, like, to give herself another one of her own videos to reference in her documents. Is that what you're talking about, Scarjan? Are you talking about her needing another resource to cite in her own videos? Fucking hell. I have specific things that make me dislike Vushvi at times, but I think he is an overall net good. Yeah, like, I'm sure that I've had times where I disagreed with him, or I disagreed with his initial take, and it turned out fine. What's the stance on Kink at Pride? We're talking about someone who is against the wearing of kink gear at Pride, seemingly up to and including, like, someone wearing their collar. This person has, there was a hypothetical presented that said, like, oh, you know, if your partner has a foot fetish and you go to the beach and you take your shoes off because you know that your partner is going to be titillated by that, you're not exposing children to a sexual kink, you know? And so this was kind of an example in reference to the idea that you're exposing children to sexual things by wearing, like, a leather GIMP mask at Pride, right? And Riley came out fully on, like, oh, if you are advocating that people should be able to go shoeless to titillate their foot fetishist partner, then you are advocating for, you're making an argument, whether you mean to or not, that a pedophile might make. Like, a pedophile might make this argument, right? That was the drama, TLDR, Corgi Zach. My personal stance is that kink would, like, that Pride would not exist without kinksters, you know? And, like, AMP, what's the safe word? I'm going to go ahead and link this video to you all because I think that there's a really important point to be made. AMP and his daddy, Christopher, Mr. Christopher, they made a video about Kink at Pride. And one of the really important things that they mentioned that I have not mentioned in like my content about it was that a lot of gay men were dying around the time that we started having pride parades and stuff. And a lot of these men were in the leather scene. And that was part of how they expressed themselves as gay men. And families would destroy their belongings and erase their lives and give false eulogies of these men. And the other gay people in the community would keep their leathers for them in remembrance. Kink is integral to this community. I'm 27, about to be 28, relatively young. I don't think most queer people, like my age and younger, can understand the gravity of the AIDS epidemic. Like, I've already had an emotional day. I'm gonna cry talking about it. Like, I don't think you all understand how actively people were cheering on this disease and people were disgusted. Like, and if you have really advanced HIV, like you go blind is one of the things. Did you fucking know that? Did you fucking know that HIV would make you go blind, or that it would make you develop lesions on your skin? It was a literal plague. You could see it. If it was advanced enough, you could see people dying from it. And they let that shit happen. They actively cheered it on. They said, yes, good. This disease is killing these immoral people. It's culling them from the population. They not only didn't help us, but they cheered it on, you know? And that is where pride comes from. So many queer men and queer women and non-binary type people they used these symbols to keep their memory alive. Do you understand? Do you understand that some of these people who died, their leathers were kept sacred and their ashes were thrown onto the White House lawn? You cannot tell me that kink is not necessary at Pride. You cannot. Like, obviously, you shouldn't, like, literally whip your dick out and start doing sexual things around a bunch of people in public. Like, we already have public decency laws that don't affect, like, what you wear. Sorry to have a huge downer all of a sudden, but, like, people do not get how real this shit is. People don't understand. There are ace people who are kinky, most definitely. Personally, Alora, I guess I don't know a huge difference between kinks and fetishes. I guess I don't really know what the distinction is there. The initial position was that if you enjoy public humiliation as something that fuels your sexual appetite, and some of those people that see you are children, then you're a pedophile, possibly amongst the worst takes I've ever seen. True. The kink crew stood by the queer community during AIDS. Like, yeah, there were queer people in the kink community. I don't know how much solidarity there was with straight kinky people, or how many straight kinky people there were. Evie Lupine also did some good work about it, emphasizing the flaws in the argument that goes, the poor ace people will have to see. Yeah. I have had a couple people comment on my video about this that were like, I'm ace and I don't feel welcome at Pride. And I'm like, that's rather unfortunate. I don't understand. Like, this is another thing. Like, if you're saying, like, I have witnessed something that made me think of sexuality, and that is a violation of some kind. Like, you're wearing a gimp suit. The gimp suit is only used in the context of sex, and that makes me think about sex, and it's disgusting. Guess fucking what? Guess fucking what, y'all? How long ago do you think it was that conservatives were making the argument that two gay men holding hands in public was forcing them to think about the sex that they were having in private? How old? Like, Riley is not that much younger than me. What the fuck is wrong with people? And then, like, additionally, if you think that, like, someone is just wearing a gimp suit to gratify themselves sexually, where is the line when people have also accused trans people of exercising a sexual fetish just by wearing the clothes that are aligned with their gender? And I saw someone even make that argument. It might have been Gammy. Fucking Gammy. God damn it, Gammy. You know, if you start to police what people wear in public, where is the line? You're fucking next. Don't play. Don't play like you're not fucking next. That's ridiculous. That's the thing that drives me fucking crazy. I think the ultimate thing about Riley, this is, she has not responded in any way to me pointing out, like, let's just double check. She has not responded in any way. Oh, I was going to share, did I link this video about kink? I don't think I did. I'll go ahead and link it twice anyway, because I think that people should watch Amp's video about this. And I'm gonna double check right now. So thank you, by the way, Scarjan, if you're still here, because I know that you tagged Riley and let her know that Calvin Guerra's video about me is still public on his channel, and it still is, by the way. I will prove it just real quick. You know, we're not lying. Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? But I'm not. It's right there. I quit hormones and so can you. Trans guy reacts. So Riley has been tagged at the very minimum. Oh, what are we doing? Riley has been tagged at the very minimum and has been ostensibly made aware that Calvin's video about me is still up, and she has apparently not talked to him about it, so I guess we're not friends anymore. Riley thinks, seemingly, I have to infer because I don't know what's actually happening in her mind. She seems to think that if she is just normal enough, she won't get the wall. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not going to happen that way. I'm sorry. I understand the instinct for self-preservation. You're a fucking degenerate, Riley. They don't care how normal you are. They don't care how much you appeal to Christian conservative ideology. They don't care. You're a fucking degen. Do y'all remember? I don't know if any of y'all saw. I watched Vosh covering this debate panel where Blair White was on with a couple of their conservatives. There was this conservative woman on there who said yeah, I'm there, damn girl, I'm there. She was like, the best thing you could do for our movement is grow out your mustache and go back to living as a man. Riley, do you think any people on the conservative side of the spectrum, the kind of people you're trying to appeal to, are gonna think that you're anything but a fucking degenerate? It's wishful thinking. I guess this is me at this point just being straight up any chance for Riley and I to talk again is just gone, because she's not gonna want to talk to me after that. God. Yeah, sorry, I'm catching up on chat a little bit because I kind of went off for a minute. The kink community did a tremendous amount of work to make the Pride Parade happen. That's true. I was able to go to a local LGBTQ+ center this week and learn about queer history in the region. There were gay men there, and they didn't talk a ton about the AIDS epidemic, but what they did say was heartbreaking. And it's so sad that being able to meet gay men in their 70s is so uncommon. It's true. I know some older lesbians, though. My understanding is that fetish basically fully related to sex, and kink something that can be but is not necessarily related to sex. I mean, I've never heard kink used in any way that's not sexual. I'm into DS and I see it as a relationship structure, not a fucking hobby or sexual thing. Amen. Just because a woman is attracted to other women doesn't mean she's going to have sex at Pride. True. Oh, you're fine. Corgizak, you can share links. I'm not worried. I definitely saw a lot of aces calling other aces on that, and how that line of thinking can extend to really awful places. It's sad people pulled out aces for that purpose, though. Yeah, you shouldn't be using other demographics in your argumentation, necessarily. On a gynophilia argument, that's true. Oh, okay, there's one of the links that Corgizak shared recently covers the kink versus fetish topic, okay? It does feel weird to be an ace at Pride, but the answer is definitely not less sexual openness at Pride. I appreciate that perspective, Necrocissa. I just thought if she was Calvin's chosen moderator, she could drop him a line. Mediator. Yeah, I mean, true, Scarjan, true. Blair was pretty much a deer caught in the headlights when she was confronted by that kind of honesty from a right-winger who didn't hold back. She got cucked in that debate. She got fucking cucked. Oh my god. Blair seems to be the most self-hating trans person on YouTube, and I really feel bad for her seeing her get insulted so often in debates. I don't. I have the same opinion as Vosh on this. She fucking made her bed. Sleep in it, girl. She's the one who's trying to appeal to these people and trying to get her, like, I don't know, like, does she really, like, I don't understand. She seems to, like, have some struggles with self-hate. Like, I don't understand how else you could subject yourself to that. Like, it's fucking insane. But she made her bed. She has done too much harm to other people. Do y'all remember, like, Calvin released a video with Blair White, like, a couple days after supposedly Riley had converted him, and they were, like, making fun of Milo Stewart, who, like, just had top surgery, or is about to have top surgery? Oh my god. So fucking rude. I got no sympathy. Big shout out as always to my patrons. This year, this coming couple of months, I am going to be making a big push to try to get the Patreon and other revenues to a self-sustaining point so that I can do this full time. If you'd like to help, please head over to patreon.com/Luxander. You can get such rewards as having your name called out at the end of the video like this. Thank you so much to Jovian F. Gaudreau, butchered, Bean, Amanda B., Heather Clarkson, R. Halverson, Sarah A., Wellington Marcus, Athiette, Michelle Winter, Aldo Espinoza Zuniga, Frozen Summers, Suzanne Maynard, Mr. Atheist, and Elizabeth Bartell.